Hello, EK Nation. Welcome to This Week in Karting. It is episode 82 on December 4th, 2024. I am David Cole, joined by Nate Dean, as we are bringing you all the major news that has hit the ECAN homepage over the past weeks, especially over the past month and a half, because we were a bit busy during the month of November. So it's been since October 22nd that we've recorded This Week in Karting episode. So a lot to get into. Enjoy this on the ECAN Radio Network. You can download it anywhere you get your podcasts, and of course on ECAN homepage in our podcast section of the website. So, excuse me. This show is presented by Margay Racing. Check out Margay Racing's Spec Ignite class and their Arrive and Drive packages. Nothing matches the affordability and competitive level of the Ignite program. It's where the best driver wins over the best equipment. Bring your safety gear and Margay will take care of the rest. This year's Ignite majors include the Quincy Grand Prix, USAC Karting, Elkhart River Walk Grand Prix, and the Rock Island Grand Prix on Labor Day weekend. The Midwest-based Ignite Challenge Series will hit 5 different tracks in 2025, and be sure to find a club running an Ignite class in your part of the country this season. For more information, please visit ignitekarting.com today. Get off the couch and into a race seat. So, Nate, as I mentioned, it's been since October since we did This Week in Karting. The month of November was busy, obviously, at the preparing and going to the Super Nationals, and then of course Thanksgiving follow up, and then you just celebrated a birthday. So happy birthday to you! You're getting up there in age, Nate.
Yeah, at least for the social media lingo, you always think is the 18 to 24 demographic is kind of the hip and I'm on the final year of that, so that's a little distressing. But yeah, like you said, it was a really busy November for us, obviously, with the Super Nationals and just getting everything ready before, during, and after the event was quite hectic, but still a really fun event and nice to be able to sit back down and record another one of these.
Yeah, now we have a busy month of December. Even though we're not going trackside anywhere, we're going to have a lot of articles, a lot of social media content that we're going to be putting out. So lots to look forward to before we get into the Christmas holiday period. But first, let's talk about a lot of the news that has hit the homepage and the interwebs as well. One of them most recently coming out was Trinity Karting Group. The TKG Burrell Art USA has been formed. This is a new venture for Trinity Karting Group, as they're going to be moving to the Burrell Art brand for their race team in 2025, but also establishing this new company, TKG Burrell Art USA, in cooperation with PSL Karting Burrell Art. And kind of the main focus, Nate, for that is to work with the current and future dealers of the Burrell Art brand here in the USA. As we all know, PSL Karting based in Canada. So they're kind of the North American distributor, but looking for more of a connection here in the USA. And they found that with Trinity Karting Group.
Yeah, it's a cool move to see. And obviously Trinity is one of the big teams in the US, have been successful in all of the series that they've raced in the major nationals this season. And for them to team up with a brand like Burrell Art and with PSL Karting up in Canada should be a big power move, and one of the storylines looking forward to seeing going into 2025.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that unfolds. Obviously, Trinity Karting Group, a very professional run program, matches that with PSL Karting. So they're going to look stellar, no doubt whatsoever. I'm really looking forward to what the graphics that TKG comes up with, because they do have a very artful, a very good eye for art and kind of popping graphics that they do come up with. So that'll be interesting to see. And it'll also be interesting to see what happens with the Kart Republic brand here in the USA. Obviously, still Kart Sport North America is the distributor here. You got MPG Motorsports, Team Ferris Racing, a couple of programs down in Florida that are dealers as well too. So it'll be interesting to see how they move forward in 2025 and beyond. So stay tuned for that. We'll have to see what happens with that. Another new entity going on in the USA is Shinko Kart Tires USA. They have signed on 2 kart tracks in the western part of the country, including the Utah Motorsports Campus and the Colorado Karting Circuit. The Utah Motorsports Campus Karting Championship in Grantsville, Utah. They host a 10-round club schedule every season, including 2025, and they're going to utilize the Shinko Kart Tires USA brand. So they're going to see those tires utilized there, along with the newly renovated Colorado Karting Circuit at Centennial Airport. They're just in the southern portion of the metropolitan Denver area. That was renovated back in I think it was completed in August when they finally got karts on the racetrack. And they're going to be hosting some of their first races. They did host a Colorado Karting Tour event towards the end of the season, but they're going all in 2025, and they're going to be on Shinko Kart Tires USA brand as well too. And of course, we know Shinko is going to be the official tire of the Challenge of the Americas for 2025, which opens up January 31st through February 2nd at the Musselman Honda Circuit in Tucson, Arizona. So Nate, the Shinko Kart Tires, we haven't seen it in person, but we're going to see multiple racetracks utilizing this new tire brand.
Yeah, should be interesting to say the least. I mean, in the US, obviously MG and Vega, really the two big ones in terms of tire manufacturers. So putting another name in there as well should be hopefully add some diversity to the market. And like you said, with Challenge of the Americas going to that tire as well, they've not been a series to go away from new products as of recent, obviously with them debuting the OK category and OKN category in the States here a couple years ago. So be interesting to see when you guys go down there for the first couple of rounds, what drivers have to say about it, and then maybe get some feedback from some club level drivers about how they like the tires.
Yeah, we'll have to wait. Obviously, Utah and Colorado, they're not going to start their seasons till probably March, maybe even April, depending on the weather. But for sure, when we get to the opening rounds of the Challenge of the Americas in Tucson, we'll be able to get the feedback and kind of the understanding of this new tire compound and tire brand that will be utilized here in the USA. With that, let's head into our first commercial break. And when we return, we'll talk about Rock Cup USA, Superkarts USA, and Route 66 Sprint Series.
Ready to step up your game? Joining the Rawlison Performance Group is the obvious choice to take your racing to the next level. Industry-leading driver development is provided by our staff of multi-time national champions, Super Nationals winners, and Team USA members. And at the same time, RPG continues to be a national-level powerhouse race team. Our goal is to help you raise your game and win races. We work with all age groups and are focused on developing those cadet and junior drivers who are ready to take the next step in their racing program. Rawlison Performance Group has set a new standard with our in-house engine program, AVP Engines, headed by Alex Vincent. AVP has become the benchmark in IAME competition. We have the largest OTK inventory that follows our race team, providing trackside parts at all the major events in North America. RPG also offers multilingual support with French, Spanish, and Portuguese-speaking staff. If you want to fight for championships or want to improve your skills and your chances to win, the answer is to call RPG at 503-260-4514. The Rawlison Performance Group. We race to win. Parolin is among the winningest brands in the USA and around the world. The Parolin Le Mans full-size chassis for junior and senior classes and the Parolin Opportunity model for cadet divisions have earned success weekend after weekend at all the major championships and events in both the USA and throughout Europe. The Parolin chassis lineup also includes the Invader shifter, along with the Daytona 4-cycle chassis and the Delfino Kid Kart. Karters can head to the ParolinUSA.com website where the entire chassis line and parts are available to you, with shipping available all across North America. Parolin USA partners with several companies and race teams across the country to provide a strong dealer network to represent the brand locally and at the national level to support drivers throughout North America. Get on the chassis that's winning. Drive a Parolin. All over the karting world, everyone knows OTK is the gold standard for quality and performance. In the United States, OTK USA is the source for all things OTK. 8 brands under the OTK USA banner are winning races and championships across the country in national programs like the Rock Cup USA Florida Winter Tour, the Challenge of the Americas, the SCUSA Pro Tour and Winter Series, the United States Pro Kart Series, and even more programs throughout the country. And OTK products are also front and center on the podium of club and regional races from coast to coast. Tony Kart, Cosmic, Esprit, EOS, and Red Speed have been joined by the Gallard, LN Racing Kart, and CS55 brands. To learn more about a specific product line or to find the OTK USA dealer near you, visit otkusa.com. Specific chassis territories are still available, so kart shops interested in adding a winning component to their product lineups can contact OTK USA directly. OTK, the gold standard of karting.
And welcome back to This Week in Karting. We are recording episode 82 on December 4th, 2024. A Wednesday, a hump day here as we begin the month of December. I know it's kind of corny, but I still love saying that. This show presented by Margay Racing as we're getting into some of the 2025 dates and series information in this segment of our show. Including Rock Cup USA and Superkarts USA expand their collaboration into 2025. Nate, Orlando Kart Center is going to be the home for a lot of racing during the month of January and February. Superkarts USA Winter Series and the Florida Winter Tour are going to be at the Orlando Kart Center in both January and February in back-to-back weekends. So January 10th through the 12th, January 17th through the 19th will be the opening rounds for both programs at the Orlando Kart Center. They'll follow it up with February 7th through 9th and February 14th through the 16th, with SCUSA going first and then Rock Cup USA Florida Winter Tour going second. So you get to spend Valentine's Day, so the Rock Racers do, for Florida Winter Tour in Orlando. And then you add in the Rotax Winter Trophy that's going to be in between the January and February dates for the SCUSA Rock Cup programs. Nate, that's a lot of racing in Orlando Kart Center. So a little bit of a shift, moving the programs away from the Homestead area for 2025 season.
Yeah, kind of like a couple seasons ago when Orlando was kind of the hot spot for winter racing. But I'd say it's a good move. Just swapping in between AMR and Orlando every year, probably for the best. Of course, we had a lot of racing at AMR with the Winter Series that ran there, and I'm sure people would like a little bit of change in scenery. So heading back to Orlando Kart Center for SCUSA Winter Series and Florida Winter Tours should be fun to watch.
Yeah, it's an interesting move. The good thing about Homestead, we can run the configuration both directions. So it kind of changes it up as you go from January to February. But Orlando, Nate, that's not exactly a facility we can go in the opposite direction. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think they've done it before with rental karts or at club races, but I think for national level races, maybe just going the normal configuration is the best plan.
Yeah, I don't see the possibility with the walls they have there, the speeds that some of the categories are going. It just doesn't seem like a safe aspect to go in the opposite direction there for sure. So definitely those who know the Orlando Kart Center are going to be in the positive for those programs, which the SCUSA Winter Series will wrap up in February, but the Florida Winter Tour will continue on. Ironically, in Texas will be the final round as they will go to the Speed Sports Racing Park in New Caney, Texas on March 21st through the 23rd for the Florida Winter Tour finale. And then the weekend following will be the opening round, the Superkarts USA Pro Tour Winter Nationals on March 28th through the 30th. So the Pro Tour heading back to the state of Texas for the first time since 2014. It's been a long time that the Pro Tour has not been there. So 11 years in counting, but going to the SCUSA Hall of Fame's own racetrack, Alan Rudolph. So a little ceremonial or sentimental as well too, to be heading to Speed Sports Racing Park. So, but it expands that cooperation between Rock Cup USA and Superkarts USA, Nate. And Speed Sports Racing Park, if you're going to go to Texas, that's kind of the place to go.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the tracks that a lot of series that have the capacity to do it want to go to. Obviously, with it being left off of the USPKS schedule, a lot of national level drivers and series were probably wanting to go there. And it's nice to see that SCUSA will be heading down to Texas once again, like you said, for the first time since 2014. So it's been quite a wait for those Texas drivers to have a home SCUSA race. And like we've seen in the past couple of years, the TSRS contingent and have been very strong in supporting the series that make their way down to Texas. So hoping for a good turnout like we've seen the past couple of years with PKS.
Yeah, and Texas Sprint Racing Series will open up their 2025 season at the Speed Sports Racing Park in February. So there's going to be 3 major races before spring break happens for Speed Sports Racing Park down there in Texas. So exciting time for that facility and for the state of Texas as a whole. Superkarts USA Pro Tour will continue on after that with the Spring Nationals on May 23rd through the 25th. Returning back to the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati, Batavia, Ohio. So second straight event for that facility. And then, of course, wrapping it up with the Summer Nationals, July 25th through the 27th at Newcastle Motorsports Park. And again, that'll be the 11th time the Summer Nationals have been at Newcastle. So 2015 was the first year it was held there, and it's continued to be held there. Nate, it'll be there. Obviously, track layout can be anything anybody wants it to be. I love the backwards direction. They added the Monza this year for Superkarts USA. I really liked it. It added a different element. Do you think they change it up, or do you think they're going to stick with that circuit?
I think with the amount of series that go to Newcastle, you kind of have to change it up year by year because, I mean, anyone who runs either nationally or as a Midwest driver knows Newcastle like the back of their hand. So throwing a wrench in the works, kind of like they did this year with running the reverse layout with the shark fin, was fun to watch, has a lot of good racing that direction. So it'll be interesting to see what they go with. Obviously, they have a lot of options, and there's some that haven't really been utilized at the national level. So maybe we'll see something completely new or go back to a fan favorite.
I think the fan favorite was the super mile using the ski jump. I think a lot of people love doing that. So that'll be interesting to see. And again, they can go different directions. They can go that hard left, going into the super mile section, or they can utilize that full oval section as well too. So a lot of different layouts. And of course, Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati, they're actually going to be renovating their facility to help give more runoff room at that turn 1 section. So we'll kind of get with the MCC facility and see what progress has been made. I know they were talking about doing that during the month of November, obviously a busy time with Super Nationals and other things as well too. So with that, let's head into our Route 66 Sprint Series 2025 schedule. Nate, they just announced and confirmed the 3rd round, which was up in the air. But let's talk about the opening 2 rounds first, which will be April 25th through the 27th at Whiteland Raceway Park. That just made some news as the O'Gara family has announced that they're kind of shifting the management role over to K1 Speed, who took over their indoor karting facilities that they had in Indianapolis and in Daytona Beach. And now they're going to utilize that company to manage the facility there at Whiteland Raceway Park. So the family's still going to be involved, just not in a full-time capacity as they have been. So that's kind of interesting news, as the Route 66 Sprint Series will be probably the first major event there at that facility for the 2025 season.
Yeah, speaking from experience, the O'Garas have been obviously an amazing family to work with. The 2 years that we went to Whiteland Raceway Park, one of the races that a lot of drivers look forward to going to, and it's just an amazing atmosphere, especially last year. So we'll have to get with them, see what the management looks like and what's going to be new and what's going to stay the same for 2025. But yeah, starting off the season in Indiana like we did the past 2 years, but moving that to Whiteland Raceway Park should be a fun way to get the season up and rolling again.
Yeah, they've gone to Newcastle Motorsports Park the last few seasons as a series opener. So yeah, as you said, switching it over to Whiteland. Then in the month of June 13th through the 15th, so I believe that's Father's Day weekend, they'll be heading up to the Briggs & Stratton Motorplex at Road America. Typically, that was the Super Nationals weekend on the big track. So brings back a lot of memories going up there Father's Day weekend. So no better place, I think, to go to for Father's Day weekend than Road America. And that's where Route 66 Sprint Series will be. And then the third round, excuse me, July 18th through the 20th, be heading to the newly rebranded Norway Motorsports Park in Norway, Illinois. Big news surrounding that facility. Obviously, the announcement of new ownership earlier in this year. The papers have been signed, so the new owners have taken over the facility, and they got a lot of big plans for 2025 and beyond. And among them is welcoming the Route 66 Sprint Series back to its facility. Nate, how long has it been since Route's been there before?
By what we saw was 2019, the last time that Route 66 was back there.
Yeah, so it'll be about 6 years since they've been there, so that's really cool to see. Again, it's a very historic facility for the Midwest region. Got its roots back in the 1980s and has been host to SCUSA races. Other programs, of course, Cup Karts North America and other series have all been there as well too. So yeah, looking at results, yeah, I don't even think it was in 2019, Nate. So it's been a while. I was trying to find results, but I don't see Route 66 going there in 2019. What? No. Oh yeah, there it is. August 9th, 2019. There we go. So yeah, last time. Interesting, crazy to exciting time for the Midwest region to see this facility coming together. The Chicagoland region, obviously a lot of racers go up to Badger. There's the Kart Circuit Autobahn in Joliet, and then you can go over down to Mid-State Raceway or Kart Club and 61 Cartway over out north of the Quad Cities region as well too. So great to see that coming back. And speaking of Badger Kart Club and Millwright Raceway, that's where Route 66 Sprint Series will wrap up its 2025 program on August 22nd through the 24th. So a pretty good schedule, Nate, to Wisconsin tracks, Illinois, and Indiana to fill out is pretty much the central time zone regional program if you look at kind of the geographical side of things.
Yeah, a really good list of tracks for Route 66 this year. There was a lot more that were in contention that we might see in 2026 to mix up the schedule. We've had the same Whiteland, Millwright, and Road America on the schedule for the past 3 years, so might see a little bit of a shakeup in 2026. But a lot of drivers have been asking to go back to Norway, especially those from the region, and of course Road America being a fan favorite too. So looking forward to another good season of racing in 2025.
Yeah, the new paving for the Norway Motorsports Park is a big part of it. I mean, that I think that's why a lot of major programs kind of were staying away from it. It just was certainly a rough racetrack, and now the new repaving certainly helps it. It's one of the fan favorites in terms of a layout, and now the new ownership's going to make it safe, add in a lot of amenities as well too. So definitely going to be a place to visit in 2025 with Route 66 Sprint Series. With that, let's head into our next commercial break, and when we return, we'll talk about some industry news involving the the TB Kart brand, Energy Corsa Americas, and Coyote.
There's a new hot button name in American safety equipment, Stilo USA. Every product with Stilo is focused on safety, comfort, and function. Stilo USA is happy to provide you with the proper safety apparel to keep you protected on the track, and their karting lineup is second to none. New to the product lineup is the Stilo Carbon CMR karting helmet. Designed to revolutionize your karting experience, this carbon fiber crafted helmet is among the lightest on the market, without compromising on safety. The Stilo ST5 KRT karting helmet is manufactured using a lightweight and extremely strong composite material. The KRT provides an excellent fit and comfort level due to its dual density interior foam lining, and it's equipped with a symmetrical visor that offers excellent vision and an effortless central visor locking system. The Stilo ST5 CMR standard was developed jointly by the FIA Institute and Snell Memorial Foundation to ensure safer and lighter weight helmets for younger karters. Drivers rave about the superior comfort levels, lightweight construction, and the unparalleled field of vision that is perfect for the youth helmet line. Stilo didn't stop with their helmets either. The newly developed Carbon Curva rib protector is unlike any other on the market, with a form-fitting solution to offer superior protection. The Carbon Curva 8870 version is FIA homologated and includes a chest protector. Head to StiloHelmets.com to review these products and many more to keep you safe on the track. Stilo, any competition, one helmet.
Are you ready to go from karts to cars? Since 1975, the Skip Barber Racing School has taken great drivers and made them champions. Today, we're proud to welcome the next generation of winners. Make the transition from karts to cars with the Skip Barber Formula Race Series. You'll compete at the most iconic tracks in America. Race weekends include your very own equalized Formula 4 race car, a professional crew, expert instruction, video and data analysis, hospitality, and more. This is the place to fulfill your dream of becoming a champion. Sign up today by calling 866-932-1949 or visit us at skipbarber.com.
History, success, family. Those are the three words that can describe Comet Kart Sales, one of the longest tenured karting businesses in the United States. The family-owned operation located just outside of Indianapolis has provided karts, parts, and services for thousands of racers in the near 6 decades of business. Their online store features everything you need, continually adding new parts to their product line. From full karting packages, new engines, spare or replacement parts, and safety gear, find it all at CometKartSales.com. Their Comet Racing Engine service has won multiple major events and championships over decades of karting and continues to offer the best trackside service in the industry, specializing in IAME X30, IAME Swift, and other 2-cycle power plants. Make sure to head to CometKartSales.com or call them at 317-462-3413 to be part of the Comet Kart Sales family today.
Welcome back to third segment of our This Week in Karting, episode 82 on December 4th, 2024. I'm David Cole, joined by Nate Dean, and we are bringing this, and this show is presented by Margay Racing. I'm a little rusty on hosting the show. Rob's been doing it the last few times, so got to get used to that, Nate. When Rob's away, I got to host, so part of the deal. Got to get back into the rhythm of being a host. You get on the mic. You do an announcing for Route 66 in Stockholm as well. Do you find you need to get into a groove once the announcing starts?
The first sessions of the year are a little rough, and especially like new paint jobs, new helmets, and everything is a little hard.
Yeah.
So it's kind of different compared to what we're doing here, but still the same challenges apply.
Yeah, I got to make sure I get the right information out there for everybody listening in. And so with that, let's get into some more news as TB Kart brand is evolving its structure here in North America. TB Kart has named Amarillo Kart Complex as a new distributor for all TB Kart products here in the United States. The previous distributor, Race Lab, up there in British Columbia, Canada, will shift its focus as the exclusive TB Kart race team here in North America, while continuing to distribute the TB Kart brand products in Canada and remain the worldwide distributor for the Villeneuve kart as well. So a little more emphasis behind Amarillo Kart Complex is now they'll kind of be the point for the TB Kart brand here in the USA, Nate. And, they've ever since they took over ownership, they've been really dedicated on and moving forward with this TB Kart brand.
Yeah, absolutely. And having a strong season at the Texas Sprint Racing Series too, of being the kind of U.S. factory team for that program, with some strong results with both on the 2-cycle and 4-cycle side of things. So hopefully throughout the next couple of years, they can evolve that brand even further in North America. Obviously, there's not a ton of TB Kart representation on the national and regional club level at this point, but you have to start small, have to start somewhere, and they've been expanding that brand in the couple of years that they've been in charge of it.
Yeah, and we saw Ty Fisher with a podium finish there at the Super Nationals in K100 Junior, was right there in X30 Junior as well too. Travis Pettit has been there on the TB Kart, so they've been kind of carrying that along with Christian Miles and some other names as well too. Christian Miles getting a victory in road tax competition in Arizona. So again, it just needs numbers. I really think that's what the brand needs. It just needs more numbers out there, like a lot of other brands as well too. It just it'll continue to expand with the additional drivers on board that chassis brand. So certainly has the ability to be successful, as we've seen it do that over the last couple of seasons. 2025 does signal the launch of the Energy Corsa America's racing team. Nate, this is kind of a rebrand of the chassis here in North America. It's been bouncing around to different dealers and importers and kind of race teams who carry it. But now Energy Corsa America is focused on going all in 2025. They'll be going to Superkarts USA Winter Series, Rock Cup USA Florida Winter Tour, and the Road Tax Winter Trophy, all at Orlando Kart Center, before following the Superkarts USA Pro Tour, USPKS and Stars Championship Series, along with other special one-off events, including Race Road Tax and the Super Nationals 28. They will be led by Dean Keeble, the father of Harley Keeble, the driver we've seen here in the USA over the past couple of seasons. Be really a key component at the front of the field in both KA Senior and X30 Pro, going from Sodi Racing USA over to Inter MS. So it'll be interesting to see what, as we saw, I think I'm trying to remember what race it was. I know it happened at Super Nationals, but I think Dean was wrenching for some drivers while Harley's over working with the Inter MS crew. So it'll be a unique concept. We'll have to see kind of what the future holds for Harley Keeble, who we've seen do some car testing recently. But Energy Corsa America's brand is certainly looking to gain some momentum in 2025, Nate.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can't really ever complain when you have more teams and chassis coming over to the US to, fight for potentially wins and podiums throughout their opening year. Had a fair amount of energy representation at the Supernats just not too long ago, with some pretty big drivers coming over from Europe, Matthew Higgins being one of them. But Energy, again, like TB Kart, has been one of those chassis that hasn't had the representation of, obviously, the big chassis manufacturers like OTK, Kart Republic, Burrell, all those. So it's nice to see some more change at the chassis side of things, and hopefully we'll be talking more about them with race wins to come.
It's funny. I one of my first Daytona kart weeks that I worked for E-Karting News with in 2004, Energy Corsa was one of the top chassis there. I'm trying to think of the driver's name. It was out of Ohio. But that brand's been around a long time. Certainly been successful here in the U.S. And again, it just kind of needs that leadership to kind of take it to the next level here and make it a regular contender at the front across national, regional, and club competition for sure. I'm trying to think. Casey something. I can't remember it. Man, you probably. Oh, you were 4, right? You weren't even.
Yeah, probably around that.
I'm trying to think. I can't pull up my It's on my external hard drive, which I had to unplug to get the mic in, so I can't pull up the results from there. But yeah, it was a Yamaha class. I want to recall. But we've seen a lot of drivers, and we've even seen Nash Motorsports utilize the Energy brand for the cadet drivers there too. So it's a brand that certainly just needs a little bit of leadership, and we'll see what happens with that brand here in 2025. Speaking of brands here in the USA, Coyote Chassis has been on the forefront of four-cycle racing here for decades here in the United States. And they announced an alliance, a technical alliance between Precision Performance Karting, Brandon Jarzakak Racing, and new dealer Roderick Racing Development. So these are kind of the three key figures when you're looking at race teams and technical support and arrive and drive programs for the Coyote brand here in USA, which we've seen pick up a number of victories at Cup Karts North America, regional, divisional, and national events for 2024 and before that as well too. So Nate, this is a kind of a no-brainer when it comes to putting these three teams together.
Yeah, absolutely. And as if the Coyote brand wasn't enticing enough, bringing Roderick Racing Development on board with the likes of BJR and Precision Performance Karting, these three are going to make it really difficult for the rest of the 206 racing contingent that want to try and get wins at regional and national events this year at CKNA, at other events too. AJ Roderick has been at the front of the field at pretty much any race he goes to, at least in CKNA National and CKNA North Division racing. So smart move for these three to make that technical alliance, and looking forward to what they can do in 2025.
Yeah, PBK kind of focusing on the Southeast and Texas region. Brandon Jarzakak Racing focused on national level events along with the club program there at the Trackhouse Motorplex, which, they bring in probably 20 to 25 racers every week, or every weekend they do run there at Trackhouse. And then Roderick Racing Development going to be focused on the Midwest and Northeast regions to support Coyote racers that will be competing at, as you said, Cup Karts North America and other programs that do utilize the four-cycle categories. With that, let's head into our next commercial break, and when we return, we'll talk ECAN editorial, our ECAN podcast, ECAN radio network, and more after these messages.
What brand is known around the world for its innovation and success? It is Sodi Kart. The Sodi brand returned in full force during the 2023 season thanks to the new exclusive importer, the Karting Distribution, led by industry veteran Terry Germanovich. The French manufacturer Sodi Kart is a leader within the karting industry, offering a wide range of products and services. The Sodi Racing chassis line offers product in classes from mini karts to KZ, all based on years of development and championship seasons around the world. Sodi Racing USA has expanded its dealer network over the last year, bringing the Sodi brand to several local clubs and regional programs. The Sodi Racing USA by PK Sports is the official race team, producing many victories in different levels across the board. And the new Pro Race Academy is designed to cater to the next generation of motor racing, helping boys and girls aiming to make their mark. Visit Sodi-Racing-USA.com to learn more about Sodi Kart chassis, or call 954-634-5111 to become part of the Sodi Racing USA network today. Sodi Kart, the world leader in the karting industry. As the winningest Briggs 206 team in the United States in 2023, Precision Performance Karting wants to get you to victory lane in 2024. As the factory team for Coyote Motorsports, Precision Performance Karting won the biggest four-cycle races of the year, including Senior Light, Medium, and Heavy at the Cup Karts North America Grand Nationals 7 and winning an iconic Duffy at the IKF Sprint Grand Nationals in Texas. We also traveled north of the border to dominate the Cup Karts Canada finale in Goodwood, beating Canada's best Briggs racers. Our total focus is on winning, and we simply get the job done. Join our team, and we can help you win too. We have several levels of support available for 2024, from full-service arrive and drive programs to tent-only options. Our championship-winning PPK-prepared Coyote Zenith karts are ready to power you to great results. Join our team today. To become a PPK driver or to learn more, contact John Seglum at ppkartingfl@gmail.com or check us out online at ppkkartingfl.com. Wins at the sport's biggest races, as well as championships across all levels of karting, pack the resume for NitroKart. The NitroKart brand has made its statement as the best, fastest, and most reliable cadet chassis on the North American karting market. If you want to win in cadet, both in 2-cycle and 4-cycle competition, get a NitroKart and join the team. Team NitroKart will be at all major events, trackside with Ryan Perry Motorsport, the official race team. Owner Ryan Perry and his RPM operation carries the full selection of NitroKart chassis and parts, while also providing the same driver development focus as NitroKart owner Nick Tucker. You can also join the Team NitroKart race team at all major 4-cycle races this season. Led by longtime NitroKart tuner Cody Johnson, Team NitroKart will be at all the major Cup Karts North America events with arrive and drive opportunities available for all ages. Nitro Motorsports is a true karts-to-karts driver development program that is already gaining success after launching in 2022. Victories and championships in the Trans Am Series has highlighted the team's start, along with the success in the new GR Cup by Toyota. Current and former karters can take advantage of this unique ladder system with NitroKart and Nitro Motorsports. Visit NitroKart online and find them on social media. NitroKart, race one or chase one.
And welcome back to our final segment here on This Week in Karting, episode 82, December 4th, 2024. I'm David Cole, joined by Nate Dean, as we are again bringing you all the major news that has hit the ECAN homepage over the past month and a half since our last show in October 22nd, 2024. In this show presented by Margay Racing, we are now into our ECAN editorial section, where we're kind of looking at some of the articles that we've published since our last show. Again, not a lot up there because of our focus on the ECAN trackside of SuperKarts USA Super Nationals 27, but we did put out the championship review for Texas Sprint Racing Series, the event coverage from the 2024 Rotax Max Challenge Grand Finals. So all that is on our homepage, along with a cool flashback Friday to SuperKarts USA Super Nationals 28. Symbolic and memorable for me because that was my first Super Nationals, and we wanted to get that up on the new website because is no longer available on the old site. So put up some of the coverage from that event that happened 20 years ago outside the Sam Boyd Stadium in Las Vegas. And Nate, of course, our ECAN trackside coverage from SuperKarts USA Super Nationals 27, all up on the website. We didn't have you on the debriefs. We were busy putting out content and getting some stuff caught up after Super Nationals. Kind of give us your feedback on the event as a whole, or some memorable moments from that event.
Yeah, a really fun one for me, just being busy with social content and making some cool videos and photos throughout the weekend. It was a pretty good one. I think it was never going to be the massive pack racing for the win that we saw last year, just with the nature of the circuit. I don't think a lot of us expected that, but Still, we had some great wheel-to-wheel racing. It really rewarded the drivers who had that technical ability, especially in the final sector. A really difficult track, like I was saying, it was especially in the final sector, was just how high speed it was, and it's just how close do you dare get to the barriers was something fun to watch when we were able to be trackside and just watching, especially the pros do their job. But yeah, a really fun one for me. Gonna look back on that one happily with all the racing and memories that were made there, but one to remember.
So you think the the second part of the circuit was more technical than the front part, because it seemed like that 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 area was kind of a defining moment as well too on that circuit.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the majority of the corners back there were slow to mid speed, where everything at the front of the track was high to mid. It was it was your standard karting corners at the front half of the track, and then it got a little bit tight and technical towards the rear end with some long apex stuff that you don't really see unless you go to tracks like MCC or other ones. So that really challenged the drivers, and especially I think it was 11 and 12, the long left-hander being able to just stand right next to the barriers there and see, remember going there during the X30 Pro sessions of seeing who gets the closest to that apex curb through there. And everyone was leaving a little bit of room. But the one thing I remember is being slightly scared whenever Frankie Mossman came through, because he was inches away from the barrier every time, just clinical through there.
It was funny. I watched, so on the end of turn 4, if you're standing on the wall looking at the racetrack, you can see them come through 12. And then, as you said, that big sweeping 13, 14 leading you into 15. As they would come out of 11 and set up for 12, 13, there was a lot of different lines for the X30 Pro category. I was watching through there. Some guys would narrow it up, and some guys would swing it out wide, because it almost felt like if you had a good handling cart, you could hug the inside and not have to utilize the entire racetrack. Did you kind of get a sense of that? Like it kind of depended on how your cart was handling and the certain lines you took.
Yeah, that was one of the talking points was having with some of the guys from the KC crew when we were watching the final, of the difference of lines between Turney and Moya at the front of the field, of some drivers just being able to hug that inside the entire time and not have the outside rear start hopping or get tight, and others just having to open up the corner a little bit more. So ultimately just coming down the kart setup and how you like it to handle. But it's always interesting to watch those long apex corners where you get more of like a NASCAR type feeling of different angles, different entry speeds, being able to work, and how you get through that corner. So always fun to see.
It's always something about the turn by pit out that causes a lot of chaos. I think when you look at the Rio racetracks, we've seen it in the past. That was kind of always the corner. It seemed like this was the same way too, because it's so wide, or do you think because it was one of the slower parts of the racetrack?
Yeah, I think it was just being one of the slower parts of the track, and just a corner that invites a dive bomb and a half into it. So yeah, that was definitely one of the talking points and one of the places to watch throughout the weekend.
Yeah, turn 1 was, we saw a couple dive bombs there, especially in our last race in Pro Shifter. What did you think of the Morgado move?
We talked about it a little bit, and I think it was a little bit of a late move from Mateus, and like we said on Monday after Supernats when we were discussing the move, it's just Mateus closed a gap that was seeming like a couple laps ago we were thinking this was over and Kayak was going to win it. But I mean, when you have that much pace in the cart, you would think you would wait a lap or two, but at the same time, we're not the ones who, in the heat of the moment with the adrenaline visor down, you see a gap as a driver and you know that that's a Super Nationals victory to go for that gap, and you go for it. And ultimately it didn't work out for Mateus, and It's unfortunate for Marcus Kayak too, of second a couple years ago, not having a good qualifying last year, and now another unfortunate result for him. Hopefully we see him back next year and get back on the podium, and hopefully a top step for him.
Yeah, because you got to assume that once he knew Mateus was there, he was going to start defending going into 4 and other parts of the racetrack as well too. So it might have been a little bit more difficult for Mateus to get that move. So I certainly would have liked to have seen it go down to the last lap, last corner between them two. But that's how Super Sunday rolls, and Daniel Vizela gets to enjoy the benefits, and he got to enjoy the cold golf cart ride we had to get that photo in Sunday night. So that was a little memorable as well too. So next time we'll make sure we bring some beverages and some snacks next time, right?
And a windshield.
And a windshield, yeah. So let's look at our ECAN podcast review. The recent shows that we've been made available to download on iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, and anywhere else you might get your podcasts to download. Of course, the 81st episode of This Week in Karting on October 22nd is available, along with our 2-part outlap shows and the 2-part shows of the debriefs of Super Nationals 27. All 5 of those episodes available for download if you have not already. And again, if you're listening on the ECAN Radio Network, thank you for listening to the only 24-hour, 7 days a week channel dedicated to the sport of karting. Of course, you can hear this show, This Week in Karting. We'll continue with our rewinds of past live shows. We'll get back into some more face-to-face shows that'll be coming up soon on YouTube and Facebook, and roundtables as well, now that we're into the month of December and our little bit of what we call an off season right now. What's coming up on EKN? Trackside. Again, we will not be trackside for at least another month before we head down to the Orlando Kart Center for the opening rounds of the SuperKarts USA Winter Series at Orlando, Florida on January 10th through the 12th. Nate, what are your thoughts on, do you think, I know they didn't do it for the SCUSA Winter Series, but Pro Tour for 2025, do you think they're going to continue on with that pro show format?
I didn't hear anything about it not continuing, so I would assume so. I think from the viewer perspective on the KC live stream, people liked the difference of and splitting up the semi-pro and the pro categories, and it made it harder and more difficult for the drivers on track, a bit more of a challenge. So I'd be sad to see it go, but it's definitely one of my favorite new additions to the Pro Tour calendar in the past couple of years.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens with that. Of course, Winter Series has 2 rounds each weekend, so a 4-round championship with the 2 weekends combined. A couple weeks after we go to Orlando, me and Rob Howden will be heading over to Tucson, Arizona for the opening rounds of the Challenge of the Americas at the Musselman Honda Circuit on January 31st through February 2nd. So get to wrap up January and begin the month of February in Arizona for that opener. And again, we'll be focused on the Shinko tires that will be making its debut here in the USA in competition. So kind of like you said, Nate, a couple years ago, debut of the OKN platform here at the Challenge, and now a new tire to debut there in Tucson, Arizona. So exciting times for that. And again, be sure to follow us on social media, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, not yet on TikTok or other non-popular social media. Well, I guess TikTok's popular. It's just, I don't know, man. I see my kids on TikTok and all that stuff, and I don't see a lot of racing going on in those things, right?
It's a platform I want to go on. It's just with the whole, if it gets banned or not, I don't want to put a lot of time into something that could go away.
Well, that's the thing. Like, yeah, who knows what's going to happen with that. We'll see. So yeah, that wraps up our show. Nate, any final words as we get into the month of December? We'll probably do a couple more, at least one more show here before we wrap up the year.
Yeah, just nice to be back at home reflecting on fun season of karting in 2024, and just looking forward to what the 2025 season has to offer.
Exciting times ahead for 2025 for the sport of karting and here for ekartingnews.com. So with that, we'll wrap up this show of This Week in Karting. For Nate Dean, I am David Cole. Thank you for listening.